Hello to all our magical listeners. We are Marie and Kate. Together, we love to chat about mindful magic. Mindful magic is intentionally, mindfully traveling through each day, each task, every little mundane thing you need to do with a magical mindset. Let's get magical and start this episode. Hi, and welcome to today's episode. For those of you who do celebrate, I wanted to talk turkey. Yay. I just wanted to share how I've made my turkey. And Kate and I both would really love to hear from you guys at mindfulmagicchannel@gmail.com how you make your holiday feasts. I would always try my best to get a free range turkey, non-antibiotic as best I can. I mean, they're expensive and a lot of times you have to pre-order them, but when I could afford it, I would get that one. Otherwise, if I got just a run of the mill butterball turkey, if that's all I could do, then I would just make sure that when I took it home and I'm prepping it, that I really, give a gratitude for this bird that gave up their life for us so that we can have Thanksgiving. Sorry, they lived a life in a cage and all that kind of stuff. Man, that's sad. Okay,
That's why we
bummer.
bless our meat before we eat it.
That's why we bless our food. Yep.
Mhm.
So to make my bird, I worked EMS, so I had access to syringe and needles. I got them on Amazon. Yeah, I got them on Amazon. So I would make my potion of melted butter, minced garlic, rosemary and sage that I would pick from outside, white pepper, and some white wine. And I would just saute that into a tiny bit of a reduction. And then I would take my syringe and I would give that bird multiple injections. Pulp Fiction, that guy. Kind of fun. um but it gets that juicy yumminess all the way down inside the meat, and when you're cooking it comes out and it's just, it flavors the gravy. And so I would also take that same mixture, but not melted butter, but room temperature butter, and make a paste with it with all those yummy ingredients. And I would put it underneath the skin. You can kind of detach the skin, stick it all the way inside of there, and make sure that you put it back down. And then that makes the skin crispy and yummy. And again, it just flavors the bird. It flavors your gravy. It's delicious. And then for my stuffing, I love to make my own stuffing. I like to get the cubed breadcrumbs the cubed croutons. And I would I like to saute in butter, of course. There's so much butter used, just throw caution to the wind when it comes to making butter, but it's better than margarine. Use real stuff versus partially hydrogenated oils. And I saute onions and celery, garlic, carrots, and sometimes if I felt like it, not every year, but it's then some kind of sweet sausage, or spicy sausage, whatever you like, of course, in butter and a little bit of olive oil. And at the same time, roast some nuts in the oven, nice roasted nuts. And then I would mix the whole mixture with the croutons with some bone broth and drippings from the turkey with that yummy garlicky sage, white wine, butter, rosemary deliciousness. Mix that all in and then throw in maybe some cranberries or golden raisins, and then bake. And that stuffing is just amazing. And I think, you mix it until it's just moist enough, not soggy, but definitely not dry, and then I think I'm hungry, and I love Thanksgiving. I just love it. I cook the whole meal myself. Now I do, because we're in a place where we just haven't had people over in a while. So it's usually kind of solo. And my husband and I are, we're both first responders. So a lot of times we're working on Thanksgiving and we just do it a different day. Same intentions and everything. And so for the mashed potatoes, one of my favorite, I would kind of sometimes use russet potatoes or the Irish potatoes, leave the skins on for extra nutrients. And then I would mash them with, of course, butter, some cream, salt, pepper, and roasted garlic and fresh rosemary. It's just
Mm,
amazing.
I'm so hungry now, Marie. Sounds so good. I don't really make dinner here. Well, we lived here for 4 years, and my husband doesn't like turkey, and my kitchen is so small that I didn't want to make this huge dinner if no one was going to eat it. So I haven't done Thanksgiving in a really long time. So that's coming in the future, though. But we need to plan a Friendsgiving, Marie,
Yes, we do.
because I
And
need to try all that.
yeah, I know. We are going to do that for sure. And speaking of small kitchens and moving into bigger kitchens, our podcast is going to have to take a tiny bit of a hiatus just because we have some really exciting news. Kate is moving into a new house with a big kitchen.
Yes.
Yay! So she's going to need some time to pack up and get settled in. And then we'll definitely pick things up the moment that we can on the other side of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also your honeymoon too. So we're all doing this at the same time. So it's kind of neat. We're doing our thing at the same time. We'll be
Yeah.
back right in time for Yule.
Yep. We're going to
Yeah.
be busy and right back in time for Yule. And so, one last thing I wanted to mention, just as you can't do, I can't, I don't know about you, but I can't do Thanksgiving and turkey without cranberry
Mhm.
sauce. And I like to make my own. There's nothing wrong with the canned ones. I grew up on that. A slice of cranberry gel, you
The
know,
shape of the can.
shape of the can. I know, my childhood. But I love making fresh cranberries. So I'll get a bag, wash them up, and mix them in a pot with a little bit of water, and one whole orange squeeze. So fresh orange juice, a little bit of the grated peel, and a cup of sugar. And I have really tried to make this kind of sugar free or not as, I don't know, many calories with the sugars, but you know what? It's the holidays.
Hmm.
Throwing caution to the wind. It just doesn't turn out as well. I've tried to make it with stevia. There's just nothing that helps it gel up like sugar. So, cup of sugar, and then I throw in some nutmeg and some cinnamon, and I just let it simmer until it gets that thick consistency, and it is just delicious.
That sounds delicious.
Wonderful.
That sounds really good. So
Uh,
are you not going to do Thanksgiving this year then?
Well, we're going to be in Scotland on Thanksgiving. And Thanksgiving, every few years happens to be my husband's birthday. I think that's going to be a travel day, actually. So maybe we'll get some turkey on one of the planes. But we're going international. And so we're not going to be in America to
Right.
celebrate. So,
But you're
yeah,
going to be in a beautiful, magical place.
yeah.
That is on my bucket list. I cannot wait. And if you are able to, it'd be awesome to do if you're able to alive in Scotland.
Edinburgh. Yeah,
And Brown.
I'm gonna try if I'm allowed to. I've booked, my husband doesn't know, but I've booked a haunted vaults tour. There underneath Edinburgh is all the old crypts and vaults and stuff. And so I've booked us a haunted tour. And gonna try to film. They might not allow it, but
Mhm.
if they do, I will definitely do an episode with that and maybe just the some of the highlights from our Scotland trip and our Dublin. We're going to Scotland, then Dublin, and then to San Francisco for a few days to see our friends and family there. So
I,
excited.
I'm so happy for both of you, and you both deserve it. You need that time, and in such a magical. I say romantic because we're all witchy, but that to me, Scotland and Ireland is such a romantic place. It's perfect.
That's my bloodline right there. So, we've been to my husband's homeland and now it's time to go to mine.
Mm-hmm. I
Yeah.
found out recently I'm really Irish and Scottish too. I didn't know, like, a lot more than I thought I was, which makes sense because I've always been really drawn to the culture.
Hmm.
So I feel it too. My soul just yearns to be there.
Yeah. Very grateful. There's a lot to be grateful for this year. There's a lot to be
Yes.
grateful for. Even the small things, even if it's been sort of a crap year for you, because it has for a lot of people still, but you can always find just the small things to be grateful for, to sit in gratitude with those for a moment. Because as we mentioned in another episode, you sitting in that space of gratitude opens up for more to come.
Yes. Yes, it does.
Okay, so we've come to the part, like one of my favorite parts of the podcast is Kate's collective reading. So Kate, if you're willing.
I would love to. And Marie, talking about, your trip and your 1 year anniversary, which is technically today. We're recording on the 11th, so happy anniversary.
11/11, thank you.
A love and romance was coming up a lot today for when because I knew I would be doing a reading today, a collective reading. And romance, love, deepening your connection with your loved ones really came up for me. Not just romance, but in general, this is going to be a time to really nurture the relationships that are closest to you, making effort with people that you love. So that came up. And then also, there was something else that I picked up on this morning that I wanted to mention. It will come back to me. I don't remember right now, but love is one of them. I already knew the romance, making effort, planning it, and throughout your day. Okay, but I chose my Crystal Angels Oracle deck, one of my favorites. So let's see. What do we need to know today? In learning, I'm hearing learning to use this quiet, inward, introspective time to study areas of interest, heightened intuition. So this is how you're going to be drawn to. This is a really pretty card. It's Moonstone. It says, be extra aware of your inner knowingness as it's trustworthy. So this is a great time to flex that intuitive muscle, your intuition muscle, to trust yourself and know that this is how spirit is going to lead you during these I say quiet months, but for many of us, it's just, cold season, but it's really a time to go within. So this is how spirit is going to be leading you, is through your inner knowingness, feeling like you're just interested in something, like you feel like you need to do something. That's how you're going to be led. And this also for your health. So purification and detoxification, they want you to focus on really following your intuition about what's good for you and what's not, what needs to go. I feel like we all pretty much know what's good for us and what's not. And it's really about being willing to let go and really listen to your guides and your angels about what's good for you and what's not. So releasing physical toxins from your life as well as that energy. And when you heal, I mentioned this a lot during my readings, that even if you acknowledge pain from your past or a lesson, it's important to ask for that energy to be removed, for your guides, your angels, for spirit to take that energy that you've been holding in that pain, because you do need to release that as well. So I'm getting that a lot for the purging card, for the purification card, and then love life. So this is going to be creating space. It doesn't mean that, for some of us, if you're single, this is opening yourself up and creating space for new love. But for those of us that are married, this is about creating space for healed relationships to help deepen your bonds with those that you love. So we're going to really be creating space. It's important to us to listen to our intuition and be open to letting things go, because remember, you're just creating space for love and everything that matches that vibration, which is beautiful, which is everything that feels good, everything that's good for you. And last one, stress reduction. How can you reduce stress in your life? I have to quote this really quick. I remember the message on this card. It says, de-stress your mind, body, and schedule as you need to rest, recharge, and revive. But there's something I remember in this card I'm going to quickly mention. This is also a message about simplifying your life. Look for tasks you can release or ways to clear clutter from your schedule. Where there is too much vying for your attention, you will feel fragmented, which we were talking about that, Marie. earlier in the episode. It's possible to get addictively hooked on drama under the mistaken belief that it is exciting. However, it's much more pleasurable to have peaceful excitement in which you create the soothing and harmonious life that you desire and deserve. Um, but it's also about, so yes, that was a great message too. But I also feel like this came up yesterday with Dahlia and I. We both knew we needed to do something. Like, I always have a to-do list. And sometimes if it's something I've been putting off, I like come up with other things to do. So if you need to do something, it's kind of like just get things done. Does that make sense? And not make more to do for yourself. And you really should be focusing on what you should be focusing on, which creates stress. So that's what I was getting for that card. So we're going to be creating space and not just clearing physical toxins, but also this clearing stuff from your schedule that you don't need, that setting those boundaries, saying no, like we were talking about, Marie, with just saying no and waiting. And it's like, yeah, let me get back to you on that. So I'm really getting that message for this card too.
Wow.
So that was, it's going to be it's going to be creating space while also studying, reading books, and studying areas of interest. You're going to be creating space for new things, whether it be love or new interests, passions, career. And what's nice is when you study areas of interest, you're creating space for things that you love. That new space is going to be for something that matches what aligns with your goals.
I love it because it blows my mind that we have sort of an outline of what we want to talk about for the episode. And this is a live reading. You guys see Kate, she's shuffling the cards and picking them. This isn't a like a pre-taped thing. And when it aligns with what we've already talked about, that is just spirit, like saying you're in the right place at the right time. You're listening to this podcast. You're getting this message because it's meant for you. And that
Absolutely.
is extra confirmation.
Yeah, it is. And again, that love, the romance that I picked up on earlier, we're creating space for love. And I love that we're creating space for love. So things that we love to do, deeper connections. So be willing to create that space. You're not really losing anything.
That's right. And we want to invite you guys to email us, and Kate will pull cards for you at mindfulmagicchannel@gmail.com. And Kate, I was going to ask if you would pull a card for Kavika. He's
Yes.
been asking about some stuff, and I just want to ask that, the card answers some questions for him and gives him the message that he's looking for.
Okay, yes. I'm already hearing, because I've given Kavika multiple readings, so I'm really in tune with his energy, this is going to be something that he needs to hear, because we're recording this previously. This is what he's going to need when he hears it. So this is maybe something that he's not, the timing has something to do with it when he hears it. Whew. Answered prayers. So something that he really, really wants is coming. I love that for him. So he's on the right track. I'm hearing that he's doing everything he needs to do. He needs to keep moving forward. My husband and I have this new thing. We're just going to keep everything moving, no matter how tired we are, no matter how stressed we are. Not that we don't take breaks, but we're going to keep this ball rolling. We're going to keep this ball moving. I'm getting the same message for him too. And then, this is going to be something really, really big. Something really, really big is coming for him that he wants.
Nice.
So I'm going to do one more. Life lessons. I'm getting chills. You can break free from reoccurring negative patterns by praying to know the lesson and blessing. So he's going through something now and he's creating that space. Like I was saying in the collective reading, Kavika's going through that right now. I'm having pain in my heart. So there's something that's blocking him from receiving what's coming, but he's already on the right path to receive it. He just has to ask his angels, his spirit team, to show him the lesson so he can stop repeating. This is a pattern that's been going on, but now he's on the path to break that pattern, to break that cycle. So very, very positive reading. And awesome. For him, it's always powerful readings. His energy is so beautiful, and it's always really easy to tune in with him and know what's going on. So he's doing something. He's manifesting something that he really wants.
Yep.
So
He told me recently, he's like, Mom, I just see angel numbers everywhere. I see 444, 777. He says, what does that mean? And I said, what do you think it means? If you're seeing that, that means that you're exactly in the right place at the right time, because those are
Mhm.
just messages of confirmation for you.
Exactly. And that's just meant to keep his vibration high and to keep him focused on his goal, because maybe he feels like he's not making progress, but he really is.
And yep. And that's that little bit of oomph. Like, we're still here, we're listening, it's going, just keep at it, keep the ball moving.
And then the answered prayers, Marie, for some reason I'm seeing your shirt. It's like the exact same color as your
I
shirt.
got
And it
that.
looks like
Yeah.
it looks like your necklace.
Yes.
I can't get that out of my mind. I have to mention that. So it has something to do with you.
Yeah. As soon as you pulled that card, that's exactly what I thought. I
Yeah.
was going to mention it, but I didn't. Then I forgot about it. Squirrel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it does have something to do with you and your whole family, but this is a very positive change. So
Yeah.
I love that for all of you.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so
Yes.
much, Kate. And thank you for Kavika. I know he's going to be so grateful. And he's in Arizona. They live near Sedona right now. He's flying over very soon, and we're going to have a little family vacation before my husband and I fly off to our honeymoon. So I'm just so grateful that, get all my kids together, and we're going to be just playing in the ocean, having good food, and I'm just so grateful. So thank you so much for that reading, because he's going to be very grateful for that.
I love it. Yeah, I'm happy for all of you.
Yeah. And I wanted to mention, this is totally off subject, but I thought, since we were plugging, the little love jar on Instagram, the little love jar, I wanted to maybe plug some of our favorite podcasts that we can plug. And I wanted to mention my cousin's podcast, my cousin Kristen. Hers is the Business Pathfinder. Um, that podcast is about kind of like, because she's coaching. It's about helping people with small businesses or large businesses, but business owners who are kind of burnt out and need a little bit of like reinvigoration and maybe a little bit of direction. Maybe they're not recognizing some patterns of behavior, or maybe they're hitting brick walls or something. And these business owners go on Kristen's podcast, and she helps them to a better path of succeeding. So I wanted to talk about her podcast.
Yeah, I love her podcast. I've listened to that quite a few times. And even if it's not, obviously, if it's not about your business, you're still learning,
Yeah.
because you hear these different scenarios, all different types of people. So you're learning too.
Right.
I'd like to mention Get Enlightened podcast. I'm actually going to be a guest on that tomorrow. Lauren Scott, it's so funny. Her and I met on TikTok like 4 or 5 years ago. And one day I felt like I needed to post like a reading post on there, like, hey, message me for a reading, which I don't do very often. I felt like I needed to. She was the only one that booked. I didn't get her message for like a week later because I'm so bad with my TikTok messages. Anyways, it turns out it was right when we were starting our podcast, Marie. And she's like, well, I have a podcast. And she mentioned it. I'm like, we're starting a podcast. And I said, do you have any tips? And she's the one that gave us great advice. Like, just have fun, be who you are. So I really want to give her a shout out, because she really, I don't believe in coincidences and the timing of that. So, and she's just the spiritual talk like we are, and everything spirituality, very, very just beautiful person.
And
So
what is her podcast again?
Get Enlightened podcast, just all together. She's on Instagram
Love that.
and on Spotify. I listen to her on Spotify.
I love that.
Yeah.
I always love the paranormal stuff. That's kind of my cup of tea. So I always listen to Jim Harold's Campfire and the paranormal podcast, which is Jim Harold as well. People call in with their ghost stories, and some are scary, some are super sweet. And it's just so much fun to listen to. So Jim Harold's Campfire, that's where people call in and tell their stories. And then the paranormal podcast is where he'll have guests come on and talk about a specific, their specialty. And so that's a really fun one as well.
That's cool. And we can't forget Bailey Sarian. Murder, Mystery, and Makeup. That's I love her show. Every Monday she has a new murder, mystery, and makeup, and I love watching those.
Oh, and that reminds me, my cousin Kristen also turned me on to Dark House.
Ooh, is that another?
Bark houses. It's these two young women. They talk about infamous haunted houses or where like major crimes happened and maybe there's been some paranormal activity there, but they really dive into the history of the place. They go back into the records, as far back as they can. They talk about the people that owned it and the actual event that took place of the house at the house, and talk about just anything about it. It's really fun to listen to,
That
really
does sound
interesting.
fun.
Dark
I
house.
love I love those shows that they really do their research, and that they figured it out. They have all the information for you.
Yeah, I like that too, because I like learning. let's
Hmm.
let's learn. So, after our very short hiatus, please stay tuned. We'll be back in time for Yule and Christmas for more podcasting fun and some episodes to look forward to in the new year. We're going to talk about paranormal things, and we're going to have on some special guests. And, Kate, what else?
And some how tos on mediumship, pendulum, tarot work, oracle cards, and how to mindfully tend your budding spring fairy garden, which is one of my favorite topics. And we can also talk about how to tune into the fairies in the wintertime. It's a really good time. Fairies are a great way to help you maintain a high vibration, to help you to inspire you in the winter, and they also help you manifest. They're master manifestors. So we can talk about fairy gardens as well as working with fairies in the wintertime, because I always bring my plants inside and then I invite them to come in too. So that just keeps the magic in the house year round.
Yep. And
So
you are going to have a brand new spring budding fairy garden in your new house. I'm so
yeah,
excited for you.
I cannot wait. And Dahlia, of course, she's already talking about it.
I
She's
love
like,
it.
my fairy garden's going to be over there. And she already has it planned.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, happy holidays to everybody who celebrates, and we wish you well.
Thanks for tuning in. If you have any questions or topics you would like to hear Marie and I discuss, please comment below, send us a message, or reach out to us on Instagram. We like to close each episode with a moment of mindfulness. Take a deep breath and think about what you're grateful for today. We're now going to bless everything that you're grateful for and let your higher self and guides know that you are open for even more blessings. We bid you farewell until we meet again. Merry meet, merry part, and merry meet again. We hope your day is filled with love, happiness, undeniable signs, and mindful magic. You can check out Marie's handmade candles, soaps, lotions, and more at kitchenwitchhawaii.com, and you can follow her on Instagram. You can book an angel reading with me, check out my books, and sign up for our angel magic community at katewhitneyofficial.com. And be sure to follow Mindful Magic on YouTube at Mindful Magic Channel. We are also on Facebook and Instagram.